A very warm welcome to all our viewers. This is Akanksha Tarafdar from the Department of Life Sciences of Christ Joby University. Today we have with us Mr. G. N. Akshay. Good morning, sir. It is a pleasure to have you with us today.
Good morning, Akanksha. It's really nice to be here.
Mr. G. N. Akshay graduated from Christ University in 2018. He is working with Gardens of Dreams, a non-profit organization based out of Bangalore, keen on transforming institutional childcare and community mobilization in India. He has a keen interest in building sustainable, data-driven caregiving interventions for our children. By his own admission, he is obsessed with telling engaging stories. As a freelance writing consultant, he proofreads and reviews graduate school essays, policy briefs, and other forms of nonfiction, focusing on storytelling, flow, and clarity of purpose. His other interests include public health, science communication, tennis, and Ilayaraja's music. Mr. G. N. Akshay's academic and extracurricular achievements in Christ University are noteworthy. He was awarded the Gold Medal from the Deanery of Science for exceptional achievements in academics, co-curricular, and extracurricular activities. He was a first rank holder, which is awarded to the student with the highest cumulative grade at the end of the 3-year undergraduate degree. He also holds the Award for Excellence issued by the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships at Christ University to recognize students who excel in academics. He was actively involved in the Center for Academic and Professional Support, was part of the Christ University Cultural Team and the Debating Society. After graduation, he trained as a community health practitioner with a postgraduate diploma in community health from the Society for Community Health Awareness Research and Action and through the Praxim Foundation's leadership program. He led the recruitment, training, and management of over 500 fundraising volunteers in multiple cities across India, designed and executed a leadership fellowship for over 50 high-performing volunteers, and organized fundraisers and community giving campaigns that raised over 3 million in one-time funding and continue to bring in 1 million annually. He is currently Senior Associate, Program Design and Operations, Guardians of Dreams, where he is working on designing a comprehensive capacity building program to support small childcare institutions in offering outcome-focused childcare. We are very honored to have you with us here, sir, and we are looking forward to a stimulating interaction which will help bridge the gap between the alumni and the current students so that they can benefit from the Christ experience to realize their personal and professional ambitions.
Thanks for the introduction. It seemed really long, but yeah, I hope it was relevant.
All right. So, sir, I am sure the first question will give our viewers a feeling of deja vu, as I would like to start off by asking, why Christ? Why did you choose Christ University, sir?
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the questions that I just don't have a very good answer to. I knew that, after 12th, I wanted to do science. And funnily enough, I was initially meant to go to Delhi University, but what ended up happening is that Delhi University cutoffs, are typically late. They come only by July, August. So I joined Christ because it seemed like a fantastic option. It was in Bangalore, and my sister had also got into Christ. So I figured, I'll spend 2 months here, and then when the DU cutoff results come, I'll jump ship to Delhi. But I think 2 months in, I was really happy with my class. I loved Christ. I loved Bangalore, and I decided not to go ahead with DU after all and stayed in Christ for the rest of the 3 years. So it was by chance, but yeah, a stroke of luck.
So I think as students entering university life for the first time, all of us have some kind of preconceived notions about what it's going to be like. So what surprised you about this university when you first attended? Or did your perception change in any way after graduation? What was it for you?
Right. So just context is that I come from a small town called Vellore, which is about 3 hours from Bangalore, home to the famous, CMC and VIT. But it's a really small town where everybody knows everybody. So coming to Christ, and I was in the main campus, there were 16,000 people that year. I think it's 20,000 now. And 16,000 people from incredibly diverse backgrounds, very different interests, very different personalities. I think that was my biggest shock, I think, coming to Christ. It was initially a bit jarring to be around so many people who were so unlike me. But I think it turned out to be the best thing about the whole experience, because I think it really gave me the space to, be comfortable in my own skin, to be open about what I'm interested in. And I think that has been the biggest surprise of Christ. That in the heart of Kormangla, you can have so much diversity. It's pretty incredible.
Yes, definitely. So, so we're all life science students, and as a life science student, there are some very expected career choices that we are supposed to be foraying into. And that was like supporting small childcare institutions, something that you always nurtured, or how did the program that you pursued in Christ here help you to prepare for this?
Right. So, no, honestly, not at all. I don't think my plan was ever to, work with small childcare institutions or work in the social sector for that matter. I think what ended up happening was that while I really did love science and I still love science, I wanted to work with people more actively. And in my 3 years, my Christ, I was also volunteering with the same organization that I now work full time at. So I think the volunteering converted into sort of a passion for not just the sector, the cause, working with children, but the team that I was working with was fairly incredible. So I thought, I'm going to jump ship. But in terms of how the program helped, so I'm not in science now, but I think rigor is something I definitely learned from the program. For anybody who's looking to shift careers, it's so easy because there are so many transferable skills, from learning to read complex papers on your own to writing a research paper yourself, um, being able to distill complex science topics to, easy tidbits to teach your friends. I feel like all of these skills have been very useful, and I've never really lost my love for biology thanks to my professors at Christ. So I'm hoping to continue into public health. So there's a fair bit of relevance there. But even the 5 years when I wasn't actively involved in science, I can definitely say that the program helped just establish a strong base in being able to work hard and also just be innovative. I think both things come from Christ.
Okay. And I'm sure there are, even though, as you said, you went into childcare and wasn't your plan, but I'm sure there are a lot of young aspirants who would like to follow in your footsteps. So, how can a freshman passionate about sustainability, healthcare, or like such interests as you had positively impact the student body at Christ?
Right. I mean, I don't know if you want to follow in my footsteps. I would never recommend that for anybody. But I do really think that, we need more young people focused on the development sector. It's a really growing field in India. It's getting more formalized. And yeah, the sheer number of people working on very interesting solutions to really complex problems is great. And I think it should start from Christ. My main recommendation would be to volunteer. I think volunteering is truly life-changing. And I think the trick is to honestly take volunteering seriously. I think a challenge that I've seen working with student volunteers myself and having been a student volunteer myself is that you look at it as a side activity, right? You look at it as oh, if I have some time,
Yeah.
I will go do it. But I think the best way to really make use of a volunteering opportunity is to take it as a job, treat it like you would a job. If you're going to say you're going to be there at like 8 a.m., be there at 8 a.m. And it sounds a bit advicey, but the reason I recommend it is because volunteering led to my job. And the reason volunteering led to my job is I took it really seriously. Like I would sit and make phone calls during lunch hours. And while it might have been annoying back then, I don't regret any of it. And I think volunteering also allows you to try out different fields. Like you can volunteer with the SWO, you can volunteer with external organizations outside, like I did. You can even volunteer within your own department. Let's say you're organizing a fest and you want to volunteer, and you realize, hey, you know what? I seem to really like this. I seem to really like figuring out who the right speakers are, I want to get them on board. I really like figuring out logistics. Like I want to know when they're coming. I want to make sure the car reaches on time. And you realize that maybe these skills can also be applied to what I want to do with my career. So I'd say volunteering is definitely one. And also two, check out what other departments are doing for sure. There are business school has business fests. The law school has so many events all the time. You have incubators within the campus. If you have an interesting idea and you want to try it out, especially in the life sciences, which is a really booming field at the moment, or even whether it's in sustainability or mental health. If you have an idea and you have people from other departments who can help you with the business plan and maybe you know the background research for it, yeah, I think make use of the fact that these 3 years, it's for you to explore ideas. I'd say volunteering and also check out what the other departments are doing.
Definitely, because there are like a lot of interdepartmental fests which they can come into and participate.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
absolutely. And a number of incubators within college itself, where you can try out your business idea, see if it makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes.
I know of an entrepreneur who's a friend who started off by selling cupcakes in fests in Christ.
Ah.
And he now runs a pretty big, very successful business. So
Mm.
you never know. As long as you take it seriously, I think there are enough number of opportunities within Christ.
Yeah. So you said you didn't specifically choose this sector from like previously from beforehand. So like when you finally decided to go into this sector, why specifically childcare institutions?
Again, it wasn't specifically childcare institutions. So
Yeah.
I volunteered for 3 years with Guardians. It was a really enriching team to be a part of. They were very supportive and they also took volunteering very seriously, which means that, I got to do some cool leadership things while I was in college itself. Like I was leading a team of, I think at that time, 40 fundraising volunteers, organizing a number of events around Bangalore. And I felt very empowered and I wanted to continue feeling empowered. So I reached out to one of the founders, sat down for coffee, and I told her, give me a job. It's fine, whatever it is, I'll do it. Because I want to be part of this. I think over time, I've realized that childcare is the cause that I want to spend my life working towards because um, it is the science of childcare is not fully understood. And especially for children, growing up in institutions like your orphanages and shelter homes, we're really trying to figure out what makes it tick. Yeah, let's say there are 30 kids in a children's home. How do we ensure that they have outcomes that are comparable to you and I, sitting here, having a conversation on Zoom. How do we make sure that our children have access and also the support they need? Yeah, I think over time I've really grown to appreciate the sector, and specifically childcare as a cause I think is a problem complex enough for me to spend the rest of my life working towards. So I might as well.
Really appreciate the passion with which you're speaking about this, and I hope that there are a lot of young people who would resonate with you. So,
I hope so too.
yeah. On a lighter note, is there any particular anecdote that you would like to share regarding maybe the annual traditions at Christ or the campus culture? Any happy, embarrassing, anything that you would like to share?
Hmm. I don't want to say ethnic day because I feel like everybody is going to say ethnic day. So I will be try to be a bit unique. But for any life science student, for sure, I'd say like my department fest, it was called Jeevotsav before. Now it's rebranded. And yeah, in fact, a really funny thing was having participated in 3 years of the life science fest. I recently judged the last culturals at the life science fest with another friend of mine, which was a very circle moment. But I think I'd say it's my department fest Jeevotsav was my favorite annual tradition because there's a final cultural competition where you get to participate as a class. And, it led to so many fights, tears, and also just really incredible friendship because there's nothing that unites people like working on the same thing for a month and like staying up all night making costumes, screaming at people for coming for rehearsals late. It was beautiful. I think the happiest moment was definitely winning the Jeevotsav Culturals in the final year. Um, I was in BCZ, biotech chemistry and zoology.
Mm.
And the context is that, so the first year we participated, we had no idea what it was. So we just went and danced and we got the third place. The second year we came second. And in the final year, we were all pumped to, win it. But one of the judges of the event was not particularly fond of our lead choreographer. So, and a few other people in my class. So we were all sure that, it wasn't happening. But when the final result was announced and we won the first place, I look around and I can still picture a bunch of my classmates just crying profusely. I've never seen people cry about culturals before, but yeah, I think that would easily be my happiest moment. Most embarrassing, I've given a lot of thank you speeches, like vote of thanks speeches in Christ. And the most embarrassing thing is, even to date, I can tell there's a certain order in which you're supposed to say our ex-chancellor's name, Reverend Colonel Dr. Father Thomas C. Matthew. And to this date, it's etched in my mind, the exact order of the different titles that he holds. I'd say that is, it's just, I've done it so many times that I think it's just stuck in my head now.
That's lovely. I think BCZ is carrying the legacy on.
Of course.
Yes. So Christ University is known to be a close-knit unit of faculty and students. So how did this bonding help shape your personality or help you realize your dreams?
Well, if I'm being very honest here, from talking to my friends across different departments and deaneries, I think there's an element of luck here in who you get as professors. And I got very lucky. So I grew up in a department, I think, that was not just, it was not just technically sound, like they all knew what they were teaching, but very accommodating. And they were so keen on offering support, like even inside the classroom, outside the classroom. And I mean, for example, even the person who, who put you in touch with me, Dr. Suma, I speak to her on a bi-monthly basis. And it's been 5 years out of college now. Mm. And we have people like that. I met James from the chemistry department at a wedding of one of our alumni 2 years ago. It's amazing to see that, the faculty are so enmeshed in our lives. I do think that as students, we have to imagine this as a two-way relationship. And sometimes we don't do that. Like we understand the professors are here to teach, like they're supposed to take class and they are supposed to help. But you can really add value to the partnership. You can offer to help out, you can organize events, you can take up responsibility within the department. All of this, like, it really makes me sound like a first bench student. And I was like, I'm not lying about that. But I think we're all adults, and it's also really important to look at your professors like they're just people. Like they're trying to do their best, and sometimes they'll fail, sometimes they won't. And the more equal you can make it by helping out, I think the richer the relationship is.
Mm-hmm. So would this be one of the aspects of the university that you would recommend to new students coming into Christ or applying here?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a really good talent pool for teaching at the university. And one way to really access that is, again, like I said, you do your thing. You offer support. If a professor is not able to explain something, you're in college now, and it's time for you to say, ma'am, I just didn't get that. If you're unhappy with how a certain portion's taught, you tell them that. And they're actually really open to receiving feedback. Like I've had 2 or 3 hour long arguments with professors in the chemistry department about like how we need to change certain things, and they're very open to this conversation as long as you're polite. And yes, I would absolutely recommend the professors. The second thing that I would say there is, another way to really understand how good the professors are is do like the certificate courses that you're asked to do more than what you're asked to do. I think I did 5 out of my 6 semesters. I think I did 5. Only because some of the professors who do CCs in other departments are out of this world, and they can really change your life. They can really get you interested in things that you didn't know you would be interested in. And I think that's worth exploring.
All right. So, finally, what would be your message for young Christites? Some words of encouragement, please.
Oh, I feel so old being asked to give advice. But okay, just the basics, right? I think like the number of CIAs, midsems, exams, it can all be a bit much. But honestly, like you have to make peace with it. Like rant about it with your friends, rant about it with your family. You should vent. Like it gives you a lot of joy. But having a good, solid academic track record really helps. Like nobody is going to care about the marks you get.
Mm.
I have never been asked what my marks are. But even when we're hiring, a sign of just academic stability is one indicator of, hey, this person knows how to put effort into something consistently. So I'd say, while like you might want to vent against the system and rebel against the system, do it while still like maintaining your grades. The second thing would be is, and I really mean this to all the life science students, like you have to get out there. I think we tend to be in a bubble. The main campus now, I think, has 20,000 students, like I mentioned before. To only speak with 40 people in your class, it just means you're missing out on an opportunity to learn so much more. Like if you're a science student, you have to speak to humanities folks. You have to talk to business people. It really opens your mind up. And like I've learned so much just about like my interest in the social sector also developed because of the conversations I was having with humanities folks who were reading about this on a day-to-day basis. And some of them are friends to date. So I'd really say that would be a huge thing, getting out there. Like there are so many opportunities. There are like I was in the debate team, there's the cult team. I think the psych department has like tests that you can get paid for. Like, you participate in their like interviews. And all of these are just small ways of being curious about the people that you're around. And I would really recommend doing that. Do theater if you can. It's also a really good experience. And finally, I think you need friends who know how to have fun. I had a really ambitious bunch around me, but I think we went to Ooty the first week of the program. Like if you're staying in SG Palia, you should know where you get chai at 2 a.m. And those are the memories you'll remember. So I'd say try to get out of the comfort zone that you've been in throughout school. And yeah, if you're uncomfortable, you can leave. You can always leave, but try to put yourself out there a little more.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, sir. It was truly a learning experience interacting with you, and I'm sure it was an enriching experience for our viewers as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad. I really hope this is useful. If you do want to get in touch with me, you can reach out to me on email. I think, yeah, I'm at Akshay @GoDreams, GODREAMS.org. Yeah, and let me know if you need anything else.
Definitely. Thank you. Have a good day.
Perfect. Take care.
Take care.